Hey, it's Diana Ward, therapist here down in Louisiana. We are going to return to our CBT triangle again that we've been talking about the last couple days. It starts, if you've seen the other videos, with this idea that our feelings, our thoughts, and our behaviors are all interconnected. If we are struggling to change one, we focus on another area and we work to change that with the hopes that it will have an impact on the other area. And research would show that that does in fact work. So one of the things I love about CBT is that it pairs really well with other types of therapies. So cognitive behavioral therapy can pair with so many other different types of therapy. Today, we're going to actually pair it with Adlerian therapy. We're going to take a technique that Alfred Adler created called acting as if, or act as if, and we're going to pair it here with CBT. So for this, we're going to focus on our feelings, but more so on behaviors. So let's say that you have been struggling with the feeling of depression. All right, this is a tough one because when it comes on, it can almost feel like we have no control over whether or not we can get out of it. And of course, there's parts of that that are very true, right? We can have a chemical imbalance in our brain that makes us more predisposed to being depressed, to staying in depression. But it would be untrue to say that we can't do things to help ourselves start to get out of it, or to make it less likely that we stay in a depressive episode for long. This is where behavior change comes in. And a fantastic way to change our behavior is to use this technique or the skill of acting as if. So act as if. All right. Basic premise is this. If we are feeling depressed, what would it be like for us to act as if we were not depressed? What am I talking about here? What do you mean by that? Act as if I'm not depressed. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Let me phrase it a different way. All right. If you were my client, I might ask you, if you were not feeling depressed, what would you be doing that you're not doing now? You could probably come up with a whole list of things. You would probably say you wouldn't be isolating. You might tell me that you would get out of bed more often. Only use the bed to sleep, right? You might tell me that you'd get back into the things that you enjoy. Do your hobbies. Whatever that may be. You might tell me that, for example, you would eat regularly, right? How many of us get depressed and we forget to eat? You might tell me that if you weren't feeling depressed, you would pursue your purpose, whatever that might be. Maybe you'd be in school. Maybe you would be working at a job that you really liked. If you weren't depressed, you might say, for example, I'd be with friends. Maybe you've been canceling a lot on friends because it just feels like too much. All right. We got a good list here. This is the premise of act as if. Act as if simply means that we decide to act as if we were not feeling this way. We kind of force ourselves, push ourselves to do these things. And what ends up happening over time is that as we do them, it actually changes the feeling. So I think a lot of times we think the feeling has to change before we can do these things. What if that's not necessarily true? What if it can work the other way around? What if we push ourselves to do these things, even when we're not necessarily feeling it, because by the act of doing these things, it changes the feeling. And then we're able to do them in a way that we really want to, and in a way where we have more and more motivation, not less and less, that our cup starts to feel like it's more full. And then we can start adding to this list, because now I'm starting to really not feel depressed. So what all might I add to this list? That's why I love this skill. Act as if. Act as if I wasn't feeling depressed. What would I be doing? And then go and do those things.